Free flying on a Sunday, my ticket is a one-way. I'm about to play in the sky. I always knew you'd make it one day. Today was such a fun day. And I think that's the first. I got out, free fly, just the sky and the love.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of WazzyCircus Radio, a show or podcast where I sit down with the most amazing people that I've met in over a decade of professional skydiving. My guest today is a buddy of mine who used to stare at the moon as a kid, and now he's doing something about it. He's been a Army pilot since 2011 or 11, right?
Yeah.
His daddy was an Army pilot, son. Like, this kid dreams about flying like I dream about flying. Like you dream about flying. But he's doing something about it. My guest today is Alex McHale. What up, son?
Yo, what's up, Waz?
Straight out of New York,
Yo,
son.
what's
Going
up, dog?
big. Yo, so you learned in Panama City, Florida.
Yeah.
Why not the ranch? You grew up next to the ranch.
Dude, you want to know something really crazy? I had no idea it was even there.
Dude,
no idea.
I grew up in Arizona. I had no idea Skydive AZ was right up the road.
Yeah.
I was in Mesa and had no fucking idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so I picked up skydiving, you know, I guess we could try to start from like the beginning of like, you know,
Yeah.
of like where, you know, how that became to be. Like, how do you
Like
want me to tell you?
jumping off the roof as a kid with the
Yeah.
whoopie?
Yeah.
What's
So,
a whoopie, son?
Yeah, a whoopie, man. It's like it's like the greatest gift that, you know, Uncle Sam has ever like contrived ever.
Okay.
And essentially what it is, it's like this big nylon blanket, right? And it's like silky smooth like nylon on the outside.
Yeah.
And on the inside is like, you know, that teddy bear kind of stuffing, but just a little bit. So just enough to give you kind of like a blanket type thing.
It's an Army thing?
It's an Army thing, yeah. And like, so everybody gets one. The Air Force gets one. The Marines do.
You get a
Army
whoopie.
guys. Everybody gets a fucking whoopie, man.
Okay.
And so you wrap that thing around you, and it's just like heaven. You're like, oh my God, this is the warmest, most comfortable blanket that has ever been developed by like NASA scientists. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so growing up, I grew up in like Hudson Valley in New York, which is about
The what valley?
Hudson Valley.
Hudson Valley.
Yeah, so it's like it's a home of like Marist, like Poughkeepsie, like we talked about, Potown.
Potown.
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie. I was like, who
God, man.
fucking gets to say Poughkeepsie?
Get him. Place, man.
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
All right.
And General George fucking Washington also. Yeah. So his like he had a camp there.
In Poughkeepsie.
No, not in Poughkeepsie, but like like right in like the Newburgh area. I mean, I forget the name.
So it's
is
like
escaping
northern
me.
New York, Connecticut.
No, it's actually like southern New York. So it's like
Okay.
it's about 50 miles, 60 miles north of New York City, and it's like right there on the like on, you know, the Hudson River Valley. So like a lot of historical stuff there. Yeah.
So there's a Donald Trump fucking reserve right there?
Yeah, I don't know, dog. I
Yeah,
have
there's
no
like
idea. Golf
you.
course maybe.
No.
I don't know.
There's a Trump reserve.
Yeah.
As you go north out of New York City towards
No way.
Skydive the Ranch. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the Trump National Forest or something. I'm serious. I'm
That's
not
wild.
kidding.
No, that you know how he is, man. He puts his name on everything.
Yeah,
it's like,
but he probably had that
it's like
before the
just tagging
presidency.
it.
Yeah, I got you.
Tagging everything.
So, what? Well, your dad was military.
Yeah, so
is
like
there a base there?
yeah, there is. So Stewart Airfield is a small like, you know, regional airport that's up there. And they have the Air Force, Marine Corps, and then now they have the Army too.
Is that big base we were talking about that's by the ranch?
Yeah, it's right near. If you can see the ranch kinda from Stewart Field when you take off like headed out towards, you know, Pennsylvania.
So
and
that's the
up sitting
place where the fucking the C5s are like
Yeah.
upside
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
just
dude, that's
carving
them.
through the sky.
Yeah, just like shredding it.
Holy
That's it.
shit!
I used to know a dude who was the commander of that unit. He would come fly in. Oh man, it's like giving me like old memories because like when I was a kid. So it's kind of back up a bit. So my folks, that's where they settled. My dad's like from Long Island area. Mom was in.
Shout out to Strong Island.
Yeah, it was Strong Island, bro. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, and mom was from Newburgh. She settled kind of there, which is like the, you know, small like industrial town. Used to do like textiles and shit there. They met at a small commuter airline called Command Airways. Right,
Okay.
Command Airways had like a pit special, which is essentially like a big long, like blown out Skyvan, right? You know,
Okay.
back ramp, everything. And so, believe it or not,
Really?
the ranch would contract that airplane to do their jumpers too. right?
Sweet.
They would.
They take the seats out. And
Yeah, they take the seats out and do everything they needed to do, and just slap them right back in.
And it was called, what was the plane called?
Man, I think it was like a shorts or like a, yeah, I think it was called a shorts or like it was like a Dash 8. I can't remember.
Dash 8's the engine, I think.
Yeah,
shorts.
it's a big
ass
airplane.
sky van.
It looks like a big ass sky van. Yeah, the name is escaping me.
Nice.
If I hit the Google machine, I can show
yeah,
you a picture.
right. Dope. No, I just like airplanes. Yeah, cool.
me too.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's just like blowing up about these politics online. I'm just like, I just like airplanes.
Airplanes, man.
It's like
Shit that goes up. Yeah.
Yeah. So so they met there. He was like captain of the airplane, captain in the airplane, and she was one of the flight attendants. And then
the classic 1960s, fucking 70s.
They lived that life like you have no idea. Like that's how they lived, man.
Right.
And so like I don't know if I was conceived in the air, but like I kind of want to believe it.
Mile high, baby. Yeah, flying's in your blood.
Yeah, it is. It's in my blood. If I cough, man, a feather will come out. Sometimes.
Yeah. If I cough, a feather will come out.
No, but like,
that's cool.
Yeah, all the cheesiness aside, though. Yeah, so like my folks met there. My dad, he'd been in the Army for about 11 years or so.
Okay.
And he was at like in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, the 101st, and like when Army aviation was kind of up and coming. And then he's like, you know what, this is great, but I want to fly. And they wanted to take him out of the cockpit. He's like, I'm done. And so he found a unit that was close to home where Long Island was, which was in Stewart Field. And he found a job working for from IBM. They had like a little S-76 commuter helicopter. They take him down in the city, and then he got a job with Command Airways.
Sick.
And so he's staying in the reserves. This helicopter unit's at the same place where his work was. Met my mom. Then they got married.
So he's flying planes and choppers.
Yeah, he flew both, man. Like,
yeah, fucking
the dude,
badass.
Yeah,
your dad's badass.
Yeah, my dad is like is definitely one of my like heroes.
I don't see,
for sure.
Dude. I know a shit ton of pilots, and they either fly helicopters or they fly airplanes. Nobody flies both. Sergio Sampler flies both.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Josh Langdon doesn't even fly, dude. Both of these are gonna be guests on the show, but yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah, man. So when I was a little kid, the day I knew I wanted to fly, I'm out there and like I loved G.I. Joe growing up. That was like one of my oh my god, one of my favorite TV shows.
Joe.
I had like the helmets and like the action figurines and like the little plastic guns.
How's the song go?
Yeah, like G.I. Joe. So
yeah. Go Joe. Well, how's it go?
Go Joe.
Yeah. No one is half the battle.
That's right, kids. The other half is violence, pure, unadulterated violence.
Cobra Commander and Destro and shit. Those guys are dope, man.
Snake Eyes, man, like red lasers and blue lasers.
Dude, Snake Eyes was the fucking best character.
He was cool, man.
Was he limited? Nobody had a Snake Eyes. Everybody had a Destro with a chrome dome. Snake Eyes is hard to get.
Yeah. And he had those like sweet swords too.
Oh, dude.
He's like, come mess you up.
Fucking Snake Eyes. So we used to build model airplanes.
Yeah.
Like fucking meticulously, like oil spots, and we take cotton balls and come off the jets and paint the inner rim red.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Right? But hold on, this story's fucking terrible. We go out and we like build these dirt mounds. This is in Arizona, and we set our models up and we set GI Joes up. And we'd fucking blow up everything. We're just like, dude, no, we're like M80s and shit. We put them in and go, Snake Eyes is boom. We burn them.
Dude, that's
so terrible. We blow them up, dude. We'd stick M80s or not M80s. Black Cats and M80s, dude.
Yeah.
M80s in the models and Black Cats on the guys.
You can't do that now. People would lose their minds and their fingers too. But like,
yeah.
So
fuck.
so I'm out in the back porch and like I would just watch G.I. Joe. I'm out there. I have my little helicopter out there flying around, and living my best life as a young kid. And then, dude, I look up and I hear the sound of all these helicopters. I look up and it's my dad and his whole flight company of like 10 helicopters, and they're coming like. I'm talking like out of like that scene from Apocalypse Now when it's like dun 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 and like airplanes or the helicopters are like flying like past the camera, like they're all coming straight at us. And like there's a sound that Huey makes, right? It's like that stereotypical like wop 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 noise, and like you just hear him, man, all humming like coming right at us.
Right.
Like in like Charlie Don't Surf, like in the same movie, man. And like
that's your dad.
Here he comes flying over like right in the lead helicopter, right over the house, like 20 feet, and it's like. I'm like, oh my god! My mom's like, that's your dad. And then so like all the helicopters peel off, and he comes like right over the house, and he's hovering, like slowing down like this. And I just remember him looking out the window, and he's waving.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then, like
his baby boy,
dude. And like that's like one of my favorite. Like that's like where my dream was born at that very minute, like as a young kid.
Oh man, all I've given my kids is like they want to see Daddy swoop.
That's still pretty
Psycho
cool,
swooping
dude.
over their heads, but they want to fly parachutes, man.
Yeah.
Not helicopters.
There you go.
God damn
But hey,
it.
it's like you gotta water the seed young, man. You gotta
Yeah,
water
yeah,
it young. So
they're gonna be pilots. There's no doubt.
That's
about
awesome.
It. That's all we're doing.
so they he would take us out to like the hangar, and we hang out in the hangar. We're playing GI Joe in the real helicopter,
Yeah,
man.
fuck
Like
yeah.
me and all the hangar kids, you know. And then after he was done with work, because he was like the commander, so he would stay really late. And then afterwards, he said, "Hey, do you want to go on the hill and watch airplanes take off?" I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome."
Yeah.
And so we get in his car and we drive up all the way to the top of Stewart. Has this one little overlook point that's above the hangars, and it looks like up the Hudson River, and the sun sets like kind of off to your back left, you know, and you're looking out the whole airport in Hudson Valley,
Right.
and all the airplanes are taking off, like C5s, like
Oh, that's
going.
fucking crazy.
Dude.
C58 Galaxies are
Yeah.
fucking humongous.
They're
if you
huge.
guys don't know what the damn deal
Yeah,
is. The tail's 5 stories tall. You can fit an SR-71 Blackbird inside the belly of a C58 Galaxy, and they're flying like they're king airs.
Yeah, they're awesome machines. Like they're incredible machines, dude. They're huge.
Incredibly huge.
Yeah.
And they fly agile like a fucking bird. That's dope.
I know.
Dude, the Hudson River's huge.
Yeah, it's about at like the widest point. It's maybe about like 2 miles across at the widest point, and that's actually like right near where we lived.
It's
you know?
saltwater though, right?
It's kind of like it depends like where on
It's
the
brack or
latitude.
whatever.
Yeah, it's brack or it's like actual salt, like as you get closer to the city.
Right.
But, dude, we watch those take off, man, and he would ask me, "Hey, what's that one?" I'm like, "Oh, it's an MD."
Yeah.
You know,
Sick.
he'd teach him what they all are, you know, and he's like, "Hey, I fly that one too," like for the airlines, or like, "Hey, look at that." It's like, "Wouldn't you want to do that someday?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like absolutely."
So that's
You
how
know,
he got you.
Yeah, that's how I got the bug immediately. And so like I go back home to mom, and mom's like all about like totally helping me live my army man little boy life, you know. And so
So she sold the military.
oh yeah, man, yeah, absolutely. So her father, like my grandfather, was in the Marine Corps at the Chosin Reservoir. For like anybody who's ever been in the Marine Corps, it's gonna listen to this. Like he was a first sergeant in the First Marine Division in Fox Company, First Marines, I think like 2nd Battalion. I don't know which one specific unit, but it's Chesty Puller's brigade. And if you know anything about like military history, like bro, like Chesty Puller is the Marine of like all Marines.
Okay.
Like this dude,
Chesty.
Chesty, man, like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
one of like the most badass motherfuckers like of all time.
All right.
So like,
and Grandpa was in his.
and that's Grandpa. Yeah, so Grandpa is like a first sergeant for him. So he's like
Okay.
my grandfather's like one of the top NCOs in his unit, right? As a brigade when Chesty Puller was a brigade commander. So like there's a bunch of like senior enlisted guys. So my grandfather's responsible for the health and welfare of like 100 Marines, right?
Oh, wow.
At the Chosin Reservoir, which is like one of the most like ferocious battles of the Korean War that like we ever
Chosin.
have. Chosin Reservoir, yeah.
All
So
right.
he got the Silver Star and a Purple Heart there, and like
Woo.
that's a story for another time.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but there's a lot of bad people on Earth. They're not walking around anymore because of Beep was my grandpa. That's what we called him growing up.
Chesty.
Yeah,
What'd you call him?
we called him Beep. Was my grandfather. It's
Peep?
like Beep, like
Beep.
like beep beep, like on a Jeep. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Beep,
It's my dude. It's like
beep on
it's
it.
it's
Beep, beep on the Jeep.
it's funny how families come up with like little easy things to their
Yeah,
grandparents. You know, like my eldest cousin Darren, he couldn't say grandpa, so we call him Beep. He
Right.
could say that. Yeah, but like
So wait. As a child, what was your favorite plane?
my favorite plane growing up
As a kid.
man, the P-38 Lightning.
The P-38.
Yeah, P-38, man.
Oh, fuck
That was
yeah.
my fucking
Why not the
favorite plane.
58?
Like the 58?
Yeah.
P-58?
Wait, what was the P?
The P, it's like you talk about the Mustang,
Yeah.
P-51.
P-51.
I'd like the P-51, but I liked how the
P-51.
P-38 had 2 engines, man, like a King Air.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it had like those 2 engines. It was like the Germans call it like the fork-tailed devil, or like or it was like 1 wing, 2 airplanes, or something ridiculous
really?
like that. Yeah, it was really cool looking. But actually, when we were talking about Robin Olds, like he flew that in the Second World War.
The P-38.
P-38, yeah, and he flew a couple other ones too.
Right.
Then I like the A-10 too, man. That
Oh,
was
the
like,
Warthog is
oh
a
my
fucking
God, yeah.
beast, dude. Yeah, brr, anyway, my buddy Lee flew Warthogs. and
That's
it's just
man, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, that's cool. The Mustang, P-51 Mustang,
Yeah.
wasn't it water injected? Is that right?
I don't know. I think it might have been water cooled.
The water injected.
Water injected?
I thought, man, I may have been told something wrong.
No,
but
it's
like,
probably it was
they could pull a nozzle, inject water that's hot steam, and give it a boost.
really
Yeah.
because I know it was a supercharged engine. Like they had like a Merlin engine, which was like a British engine that they kind of re-engineered, and like I really don't know a whole lot, so I don't want to sound like a doofus.
Right.
But I know it's like a very iconic airplane. They kind of changed the way that we fought in the World War.
Have you flown an A-10?
Dude, I have not, but I am. I would love to.
Right. So,
Yeah,
what's your favorite plane that you've flown?
Favorite airplane I've ever flown? Damn. So I got to fly the extra 300. which is like a like the Red Bull Air Race airplanes.
Yeah.
They're like that, except like a
Okay.
2-seater like trainer.
Sick.
That's like that, and like extra.
Like an
300
RV, right? But better.
It's kind of like extra 300 is like an aerobatic airplane. If you're familiar with like the National Aerobatics team,
Okay.
so like Patty Wagstaff was like one of the
Okay.
top aerial
Yeah,
competitors.
yeah.
And so like I went to her school as part of like the space thing, and we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And dude, like I got to fly like with her crew in that airplane, and we were like doing like snap aileron rolls and like we're doing like huge like Immelman turns, like inside loops, outside loops, so like knife edges. It was fucking awesome. Like it was absolutely awesome.
So that was just your favorite plane you've flown.
Yeah, so it's probably my favorite airplane I've ever flown. Black Hawk is an amazing machine. It's a helicopter though.
So you're dual too. You're airplanes and
Yeah.
helicopters like Pops.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything less, huh? That's pretty rad.
Yeah, so so like I'll never forget this, like when we were talking about the whole Whoopee thing to kind of to circle back. And so like kind of like my desire to jump out of airplanes, like totally fueled by G.I. Joe, number one.
Okay.
And then number two, like I'm out there, I got this little JanSport backpack on,
They used to skydive in G.I. Joe?
What's that? Yeah. Yeah,
don't
if their
remember,
helicopter
man.
blew up, man. Like Wild Bill, if his helicopter blew up, boom, he's coming out like, oh, Joe, like shooting his fucking like pistols and like
dope.
just like laying dudes out and stacking bodies,
Yeah, under the canopy, son.
under the
That's
canopy,
sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I'll never forget that she took like this nylon, like I don't know what this line was for, but it was just like a fencing line, for like plants and stuff. Cause my grandfather was living with us at the time, and he would like do tomatoes, vegetables, all that stuff. So we used his little like his string, and she tied it on the corners of the Whoopee man, and then she tied all those lines to like the little like handle loop on the backpack. JanSport.
You had a canopy.
Oh my god, I had a canopy, dude. And this was my first base jump. Boom, off the swing set, 8 feet. Boom,
Nice.
got it. It was like a total Wile E. Coyote moment. I jumped off. Like I remember, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go, Mom. And she's like, and she's standing there watching me like a hawk, So I climb up the swing set, and I go to get higher, and she's like, no. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I jump off the first time. It's like 6 feet off the ground.
Right.
And I jump and like in the air, and I grab like behind my neck, and I grab the backpack, and like the Whoopee in it. I throw it up in the air, and I land on the ground. And I'm on the ground, and it was like Wile E. Coyote, like boom, ground, and poof, canopy over it. And then like I went to get the aluminum. She went inside, and I was like kept jumping and jumping and jumping, and I grabbed the aluminum ladder. Like we had this aluminum ladder against the side of the house that we used to like, clean the gutters and stuff. And I grabbed that sucker, man. And I put it up against the brick wall, right, and on the gutters. And she heard that aluminum go clink, and I'm climbing up this thing. So I'm going on the roof now to jump off the roof.
Jeez.
And she comes outside. She's like, "What are you doing? Get down!" How moms are. That's like when that was born. So like you fast forward like 20 years later, man. I'm in Panama City, Florida, right? Like we're in the Pine Barrens in the middle of the swampy like old municipal airport.
Pine Barrens.
Yeah, so like it's like pine trees everywhere.
How'd you end up in Panama City?
So I got stationed in 2015. I got stationed in Fort Rucker, Alabama, which is like the home of Army Aviation.
Okay.
Alabama, dog.
I know. I was just in
Alabama.
Georgia, like shit.
Like
yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
ding,
yeah,
ding,
okay.
ding. But they have helicopters on everything.
Right.
Like helicopters and peanuts on everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, but they're great people.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
It was a really unique place to kind of hang out for a while. So I'm stuck there. Like flight school was there, so I'm familiar. And so that assignment though, it was just like a 6 to 9 month, depending on what my training was after the class, of like no flying. And and for me that's like like taking like actually like the wind out of my sails, and I was like, I have to have this to stay sane. I got like that's where my heart belongs.
What you were doing, like bookwork or something?
Yeah, it's school. It's like professional military education.
Yeah.
So like you're like, he's going to class. Like it's like kind of like a master's degree program, but not really.
Right.
And so yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So like we're in there learning about stuff, like strategic level army planning and all that bullshit. And so I'm like, I want to go fly. I got to have something to keep me sane. And a couple weeks went by. I kept trying to get into this flight school. There's a flight school that's like right near there in Enterprise, Alabama. And like that airplanes. I'm like, y'all want to do this? This is perfect. Like now it's the time. I have like, I'm home at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock every day. This is like a dream deal.
Right.
I could go, during my lunch hour and then go start flying and get my airplane ticket and then boom, good to go. The school was booked for like a year. And I was like, man, this sucks. It kind of got in a little bit of a funk. And it kind of like took a toll on me personally. And I was like, man, this like really sucks. And then like not really depressed, but like trying to get like how you get like in a funk.
Yeah,
You're like, yeah, man, sorry, like this is great, but it kind of sucks. I don't want to do anything. I just want to fly. I want to be in the air.
Right.
And then it just like sparked on me, dude. Like I actually I might have been like moving some army gear around. I found the whoopee, and then boom, light bulb. You know.
Oh, I'll go jump out an airplane.
Yeah. So then I go online and I pull up my phone and I look like skydiving near me, and then Jen and Tony Antonovich their drop zone popped up. Shout out Jen and Tony.
Okay.
And then like
that's Panama City.
Yeah, Skydive Panama City SPC. Yep. And so like their drop zone popped up and I called him and I was like, hey, I want to come down, be a skydiver, blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, dude, yeah, sounds great, man. Come on down. I'm like, all right, cool. So I hop in my Jeep and I fucking tear off, man. Like down through at the back roads of Alabama to get this place, about an hour away. So I show up and like they got like 2 Cessnas, doing turns.
Right on. That's dope.
Dude, it's a busy drop zone. And the coolest part about
that's super dope. 2 Cessnas is perfect.
Dude, the coolest part about Jen and Tony's
it was 5 Cessnas is perfect. But yeah.
That's crazy. 5?
Well, no, only 2 are gonna run, but you'll have 5 of them.
Yeah, in case one breaks, I get it.
Yeah.
Dude, like the best part about their drop zone is that like it's like it is the epitome of like the mom and pop like family DC environment.
That's
like,
where we're from, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like how I grew. Like that's how I was introduced into the sport. And like I looked at it initially. I'm like, okay, if I'm a pilot, I'm gonna be flying airplanes and helicopters. I want to do aerobatics eventually. I should probably know how to like jump out of one.
Right. That's a good thought to have.
Yeah, it was kind of like yeah, I want to do this, but it kind of was like it was only going to be something that I was going to do just to say like, hey, okay, I've got my license and I'll stay current if I like it.
Right.
It was one of the things to conquer, aviation, another discipline, another challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then like very serendipitously, I show up and I do like, a couple tandems with them. I had done one I'd done one like a long time ago in Palm Beach, Florida, like right before I left right as I came back from Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, I want to do this, but I didn't have the money. And then I did a couple tandems there, and then I was like, I'm hooked. Like I want this so bad.
Right.
And then I gave Jen my credit card, and I was like, let's do this.
So, favorite DZ you've been to?
My favorite DZ?
Yeah.
Man, that's a hard question because like I'm sure like everyone's got their loyalty. This is my home. This is where I grew up.
Right.
And then like I came to Texas and like people were like super friendly. And then, like, I kind of came to a time when there was still a little bit of bad blood between San Marcos at the time and Lone Star.
Uh-huh.
And then Temple was kind of floating around there. And, like, I've been to, like, not all over the country, but, I've been to the ranch and then the land and then here in Texas and then overseas.
Right.
Man, it's a hard, I don't know.
Hey, man, you just won a free week of skydiving at this place. Where would it be?
I'd probably go home to Panama City, man.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Fucking
where I'd go.
cool.
That's where I'd go.
Fucking cool.
Because it's a super veteran heavy atmosphere. It's just no place like home, man.
Right on. Yeah. How many different helicopters have you flown?
I've flown, I think like 4 or 5.
And how many airplanes?
Like let's say 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 maybe.
Okay. How many canopies have you flown?
I've flown, dude. I don't know, man. Like maybe like 5, 6.
What's your favorite canopy?
I like the pilots, dude. I'm still relatively young in the sport. I'm not like quite at the level to get into all like that swoopy, awesome like cross braced, like just flying out of fucking the stratosphere with my hair on fire. Like it's maybe someday, but like I like this a nice like if I can get a good glide going, man, like a good something that'll take me far, and then like I can hang around in the air longer. It's kind of like
who makes the pilot? It's PD, right?
I think it's Aerodyne makes the pilot.
Aerodyne does make the pilot. You like the Aerodyne pilot?
It's okay. I mean, like I haven't flown a lot of canopies. I've flown.
Okay, not really, huh?
Not really. There was one that I flew that Andreas.
I just saw Andreas this morning.
Yeah, dude.
I made a jump.
Shout out to Andreas, man.
Yeah, he's on the plane. He wants to be on the show.
Yeah, he should, dude. He's a good dude. You gotta talk to.
He's a cool dude.
Yo, he is the epitome of the American dream, dude. That's like the hard working.
He's doing it.
Humble bro.
Doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like he let me borrow his rig one day, and I'm like, yo, this thing is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I was like whipping it around, having fun, and then like it was a great land. I forgot what he was flying then.
Okay, but it was Aerodyne.
I think I want to say it was like a Pulse or something like that, or I think it was a Fusion that he.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I learned right there at Skydive Panama City, like dude, I'm telling you, man, like it was like down in Florida, like you've seen like those things like Florida Man like does this and like people wear certain shit. So like the ensemble for the DZ was like you got your SPC shirt, and then like some sort of military like macro-made cargo pants.
All right.
Like you cut those things off and you made them shorts. Like everybody had those, you know, and that was like our thing, man. It was like our hallmark. Everyone had a gray cookie. Everybody, you know, and that was like our unofficial uniform. And like if you had that, like you were one of the bros.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Or one of the girls too. A couple girls there too.
Yeah, but you know that's the family fucking.
Yeah, man. And like, dude, like I would show up there and just give me a fucking hug. They're like, yo, I haven't seen you forever. You know,
right.
Come here. You know, that's how it was.
So, favorite country that you visited?
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Like, that's really hard, but definitely like Croatia was fucking awesome.
Croatia.
Oh my god.
What's up with Croatia?
It's beautiful. Like, it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. Greece is like right there with them, but Croatia is gorgeous. Like,
in what way?
It's really weird. You know how like, you know, there's a lot of limestone, you know, that Texas has, and like, you know, it creates these really beautiful, like all this beautiful water.
Right.
So Croatia is like right across, you know, from Italy, which like I would say they definitely like Italy is up there, Greece, Croatia, and then a little bit Spain, a little bit. Spain was really nice too. But dude, like Croatia's just gorgeous. Like it's like something out of a James Bond movie. It's like that beautiful.
Right on.
It's crystal clear, like, you know, that like aquamarine, like crystal clear water. You know, and the food is like all the seafood's like boom right there. You just like catch it, bring it in.
What's the best food that you've had around the world? Favorite meal?
Favorite meal? So I was in Sweden, up in Stockholm, like right during their king's birthday, which is like the most wild event you could ever imagine for the Swedes, right?
Right.
Swedes are like very like uptight, like kind of people. If you watched like the series Norseman on Netflix,
not yet.
It's funny. Yeah. It's like, but they're very like kind of quirky people, but uber friendly. Like when you get to know them, but they're like, oh, do not talk to me. Do I know you? You know.
Yeah.
But we sat down at this restaurant, like right outside like the king's like castle area. And, like, they brought out this reindeer steak, dude. And, yo, this thing was, like, it looked like something out of, like, TV. Like, it was, like, this beautiful, like, filet. There was, like, marbled just a little bit. But, like, it was, like, a purple kind of, like, you know, that purple rare-looking kind of meat.
Yeah.
And it was just delicious. It was, like, they put, like, peppercorn on it and, like, these, like, wild berries from out of the forest and, like, little pine needles.
Oh, fuck.
Like, it was, like, a true, like, Viking meal, man. We had, like, this big flagon of mead. Like, me and my friends sitting there, were drinking, having a great time.
Mead, yeah.
Yeah, dude. it was wild,
cool, man. All right.
Yeah.
Space.
Sure.
You've designed a spacecraft that could take off under its own power?
Yeah. So, like, if, like, as you know, man, like, for like, my love for flying and for space, like we were talking about, like, I look up at the moon, like, when I was a kid, and, like, I still have, like, that, that enchanted, you know, like, completely mesmerized by, you know, the space program and traveling through space and, like, you know, like, just kind of, like, how that's, like, the pinnacle of human achievement and exploration. Right. I wanted to be part of that. And I do some other stuff that we maybe talk about a little later, where I get involved in, like, commercial space, you know, research and, like, education outreach. Right. Do like bioastronautics and aeronomy, which is like the study of the upper atmosphere.
Right.
And then like some extravehicular activity, EVA stuff, you know, like tools and like spacesuits and equipment and all that stuff.
Right.
And an organization I'm part of, which is called Project Possum. It's based down like out of Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
And like that's like they're trying to take like everyday citizens and make them, you know, essentially the next group of astronauts, because space is for everyone.
Right.
You know, space isn't just for NASA or for Blue Origin or SpaceX or Sierra Nevada Corps. Like, dude, space is going to be for everybody.
Right.
And so I kind of started my own, you know, little aerospace like research group.
Right.
A couple years ago, and I designed it essentially as a spacecraft that can take up on its own power like an airplane, and as it's flying through the atmosphere, it changes its shape, right? To defeat, you know, kind of some aerodynamic principles and frictions, and then like the rocket equation, to kind of like not necessarily cheat those things, that because it's really hard, you can't really cheat physics and math,
right? But
you can change it a little bit, you know, to offer, you know, kind of workarounds for different flight regimes. So essentially what that airplane that I designed does that. So like it's not like an old principle. It's kind of like, you know, how the F-14, you know, like Tom Cruise sitting in there, boom, like Mach 2 wings fold. You know, flying around, it's like Mach 1.8, but like you're blasting. You're blasting. I'm fucking a nerd, man.
Yeah. What is the future for space travel? Do you believe it's commercial, or is it going to be mining?
Commercial.
You think the mining?
The mining will come. The mining will come when the technology is ready. So like right now, we're kind of like But
see, it's hard to transport material. So we're gonna have
precisely.
we're gonna have to get them from up there.
Yeah,
we're not gonna bring them from
or make
here.
them there, or make them there, mine them there. Yeah. So like one of the big issues is like we were talking about the rocket equation.
Yeah.
And so like rockets are inherently expensive.
The rocket equation
heavy.
is how much fuel it takes to get up and get home, right?
Kinda, yeah. So like it's what means it's like, so you're taking like, if I want to launch this coffee cup right here on the table, right? So I need propellant that's in the cup, so that equates to its weight, the shell of the cup, and then the payload I want to put on top of it. So if I want to launch something into space, like if let's say like a 200-pound person or you and me want to go, right? We're going to skydive from space. So like, we got to get on a rocket that's going to have enough, it's light enough, it has enough, propellant, and it has, the right, Goldilocks zone of mass to get us to our desired, altitude, with all that stuff on board. It's crazy, man, because when they talk about rocket science, like, this shit will blow your mind. Because, you got to sit there and
rocket science.
It is literally rocket science, and you're sitting there crunching the numbers. You're like, oh my God. And what's crazy, man, is that like we sent people to the moon with slide rulers.
Yeah, we did. We did.
And then like
with
stuff.
The slide rule, dude.
The slide rulers and like a computer that's like half the power like your watch, man. Like not even.
I already know.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, and it was the size of a refrigerator, and that was advanced when they put that motherfucker in the Apollo. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so it's an incredible thing to be part of, especially the organization. They're like a phenomenal group of people. That have devoted some of their life, to, or some cases, everybody, to like making space accessible for everybody, to teaching, to inspire, to be an ambassador of Earth.
Right
like most importantly, like if I had the opportunity to do that, and represent not just a nation individually, which I would love to, like represent the United States and NASA, that'd be awesome. But most importantly, like Earth, man.
Yeah.
Like being a representative of the human race to go where no one's ever gone before. And that's like the thing that inspires people to become, engineers and pilots and mathematicians, and astronomers and all that stuff that contributes, towards that.
Who has the right idea? Is it SpaceX? Is it Blue Origin? Is it Nevada? Who is...
So like
NASA doesn't have the funding, so they're not even a player right now.
So I'd say NASA. So NASA is, they're a government organization, so they're going to face operational friction and stuff that goes along with Congress and politics. So they'll always be at bay to what Congress says and like who's in the presidency and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What the national priorities are, but so like they could be a powerhouse, man. Like they put us on the moon. Within a decade, which is awesome. However, some of these other organizations, like SpaceX, Blue Origin, Firefly right here in Austin, Ad Astra that's out in, down in Texas that's making a really cool like plasma rocket. Some of these organizations are going to be the front runners to really reach out and go beyond what, the state-run organizations can't do.
Right.
And then another thing is like, a whole core of people, like we have general aviation right now, we're going to have like general space. Right. So like guys and gals in their own rockets, or their own space vehicles, that are privately owned, or individually funded, they're going to be, the future of this thing.
That's awesome.
And it's a collective effort. Like no man or woman stands alone on this thing. Like we are all in this together.
Right
and
on.
Like,
yeah.
I had mentioned earlier that like to get to space, you have an army of people, of friends, family, supporters, people that are helping you get there.
Right.
And like that's like it's like stay humble, dude.
Yeah. Right on. Who's developing those inflatable space stations?
Oh yeah, so Bigelow Aerospace makes this like really like far out.
Dude, that is the
it
shit.
Is really cool looking. Like that's a great idea. Like hats
it's the
off
best
to those
idea.
dudes.
Can you imagine the space on the inside? It's protected from all the radiation. It's made out of like used tire material and like metal, surrounded by rubber. It can't be pierced. It's really thick, and they can inflate it, so you don't have to build a giant structure. Isn't that fucking rad?
It's pretty cool, man. Because
it's like a basketball.
Yeah, and then like if you have the most important thing is you can pack it up and it's
You
compact.
pack it up and then inflate a giant structure.
It's great because like mass is a thing. Like
mass is a
mass
thing.
Mass is a thing, man. Like you're limited by how much you can put in a certain space.
Right.
And if you can like have a super dense space module and a cardboard box.
Yeah, and it inflates to a fucking giant dome.
Boom.
How about printers on the moon using moon dust to build structures in the fucking caverns? Is that not dope? Is that not happening?
So there's two things I'd talk about that.
Okay.
I met this awesome lady. She was in Austin. I was actually driving for Uber. Just making some dollars, to put gas in the airplane. and I run into this lady, and she represents an organization called Made in Space, and like she was here talking to some people in the city about how to get her 3D printers into space on the space station. Right. And like that is where it's going to be at. So like,
dude, manufacture the parts. Why send up the parts?
I'm telling you, man, that's
you send up tubes of goo, right? That can harden under heat or something, become metal, stronger than metal, plastic.
Or what you can do, like what my organization wants to do, is go collect all the junk.
Yeah,
right?
and just
refine the junk.
Oh,
and boom.
Fuck, that's a genius idea.
It's already there.
It's already out there, and there's so much space junk.
It's trademark.
What are you gonna do?
Don't you dare try to steal that China. Don't you dare.
What would you use to collect it, though? The things are fucking traveling 1,000 miles an hour.
So are you.
I know. So you're gonna move it, and but they're going in all different directions, man.
Yeah. So like, what's really cool is the Air Force tracks this stuff.
Right.
You know,
so you
hashtag Space Force.
Holy fuck! Shout out, yeah.
It was legit.
Alex, that's dope. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's what my organization wants to do. I want to put like a space station in each orbit, right? So low Earth orbit, MEO, middle Earth orbit, and then far Earth orbit, way out there, or geostation, aka geo. Geostationary, which means you can like stay.
Dude, we know what the fuck KGO means.
Hey, dog, I'm just. All right.
You can't air fucking quote KGO on me. KGO. I don't even know what a fucking plasma engine is yet.
Oh yeah, okay. So I will tell you about that right next.
Okay, go. But KGOs, put them out far Earth orbit,
put them in different
lower,
orbits. Yeah, so
and
like
they'll track. And how would you snatch them?
Yeah, so like the mothership will have a bunch of little drones on there. Just the way like little drones.
And they just go snatch it up.
And then so like we'll fly to the coordinates or where this junk is. We'll match its orbit,
match the speed,
or come down to it, or launch smaller bots or limpet drones, whatever, to grab this stuff and then bring it to the processing station. Cut it up, melt it down, and boom.
Yeah. You know how valuable fucking cleaning up the atmosphere is going to be?
The thing is, so like there's a guy named Don Kessler, he was like this, who NASA considered him a little eccentric, like back in like the the 90s, and so he was a dude that kind of said like, we need to police and have a deliberate plan of deorbiting our stuff once it's reached its life cycle. We got to bring it back. We have to either service it in orbit, reduce it, deorbit it into the ocean, or burn it up in the atmosphere, or reuse it. And so, people could the technology isn't even remotely there yet. We're not that big of a spacefaring nation. Fast forward, Pixar put out the movie WALL-E. I only bring out this one moment because, like, in that movie, when they're leaving Earth, they smash through all these, in like cartoon, comic fashion, smash through all these satellites. But like it's then later captured in another movie, in Gravity with Sandra Bullock. Like a piece of space debris hits an astronaut, and kills somebody, kills him, and destroys the whole International Space Station. Yeah.
Dude, have you ever seen the graph of the tracking? It's like
it's nuts. Yeah.
It's like a cloud.
It's cool, right?
Of debris. Like, how do you? I mean, to plan a launch, you got to dodge all that shit.
Yeah, so like they have
something. So who's regulating that?
So NASA helps, like they call it, like they have a launch window. So they have like a little, like it's called pizza box. It goes up from the surface, so a couple kilometer, couple 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 plus kilometers outside of their targeted area where they're launching, right? So if my altitude is like 200 kilometers from Earth, like I extend it how far I need it to go in order to capture where this debris is going to be. Talk to the Air Force, go Air Force, we got stuff coming. It's like, hold up, yeah, we got some,
Yeah, and you just collect it.
And then, like, you just track it, and, like, you kind of, it's just mitigated. It's just like, how we mitigate risk in skydiving? Same way, man.
I wonder how much trash is out there. What kind of structure could you build? You could probably build something fucking huge.
Here's the thing, man, is that, like, you don't necessarily have to, it's just about consolidating the mass. So, it's like, God bless his heart, man, homeless dude on the road picking up those cans.
Yeah.
He's going to turn those into some dollars so he can get himself, a jug of water,
whatever,
some food, whatever.
Yeah.
Some really tasty booze, like some Mad Dog 2020, whatever.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
I don't think they make Mad Dog anymore.
They do. All right. And so, like, so he's out there, recycling, and that's an environmental thing that's important for the Earth. And we talk about climate change and environmental stuff. So that's how, like, I pitch this to people who, could be potential investors. It's like, hey, this is a responsible, climate, conservation for the Earth. Earth isn't just, compromise of just what we have on terra firma here that we all breathe, walk around, touch.
Right.
It's stuff that's in space. It's celestial bodies like the moon. It's our orbits.
Right.
It's responsible to make sure that if we deorbit that stuff, man, we can reuse it too.
Yeah.
And that saves dollar bills.
You mean deorbit, land it, and reuse it?
No. So like when I say deorbit, like they
so take it out of rotating and control it and melt it down.
So like some of the stuff's flying around 15,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, deorbit
right?
it. I got you.
So when you put 15,000 miles an hour and then you meet the atmosphere, aerodynamic friction,
it's gonna burn the fuck.
It's gonna burn it to hell, man.
Right.
Burn it up. So that's what guys do for deorbit, that stuff.
So
yeah,
aliens.
So there's.
You're in the inside. You're the inside, dude.
I'm not the inside.
You are the inside. For in the WazzyCircus show right now, you're the inside, dude.
All right.
It's not aliens. Did we Area 51?
But it's aliens.
Area 51 aliens. What do you think?
Here I am dragging your ass through the desert. Welcome to Earth, bitch. Bow.
So stupid,
dude, I love. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, Smith is the shit, man. Oh, dude, 100%.
So he flies both helicopters and airplanes too.
Does he? Will Smith?
Yeah, so like not in real life, but in the movie he does. In the movie he does.
All right,
in the movie he does. He does. He's like, yo, let me borrow that. He just hops in this Huey. He's like, I'll be right back.
Favorite helicopter.
Oh, favorite helicopter? Don't do Black Hawk. Come on.
H-64A.
Come on.
The
Apache?
fucking Apache,
bro.
Come on.
All right, so like I love my 64 brothers and sisters. I really do. They're great people. They go out and they fucking kill bad guys,
But
like there's just like the bigger brother, middle brother, and the younger brother all like compete for dad's attention.
Yeah.
And for like to praise everybody. It's the same with us, man. Like there's some civil rivalry, but man, you pick on one.
Yeah.
Well, let's go. Like people are gonna go after him. But like, that like. Of all the helicopters ever flown, man, like, and she's pulling up that picture right now. That's probably one of my favorite flights I ever had. Yeah, so this is a picture of an 0858 Charlie, which is an old like trainer helicopter from from flight school, and they flew in Vietnam for a little while. And that dude standing next to me is one of my best friends in the whole world. His name is Kirk Burrell.
Shout out Kirk Burrell.
Man. What's up, Kirk? He's a native Texan. We flew all around the world together, man. Like
nice.
we were out in Afghanistan together. We lived together for a while in New York, and I saw him out in California.
Are aliens real, Alex McHale?
Oh my bad. Yeah, I think honestly, bro, they are. Like,
of course they are.
At some
but
level.
do you have any evidence in the military that you know about? You've never heard anything?
Like, I'm going to tell you. It's like, you'll be like, FBI!
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, Will Smith's coming in here. It's like, I need you to look into this thing for me right now.
I got you.
I need you to look into it for me.
I got you. Hey, can we pull? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so
Friday
like,
freak out.
No, but like to totally kind of answer your question, like a little more serious. There's this philosopher type dude named Fermi, and he has a paradox where the universe is so vast with so many possibilities that life's out there somewhere.
It's out. It's definitely. It's soup.
Is it gonna be like you and me sitting here on a radio talking about like, yo, do you think there's aliens like way over there? Like probably not. Who knows?
Or maybe.
Maybe we'll find out someday.
I mean, we're carbon based. Let's say something selenium based. What was that movie where the things were selenium based? They came back to Earth and all dinosaurs and shit. Like,
I don't remember, but I remember like I can't remember what movie you're talking about.
What the fuck is that movie? They're in Cali. All the dinosaurs come.
No.
They kill them with Head and Shoulders.
Get out of here,
dude. It's a good fucking movie. It's a really good movie. I'm serious.
All right.
All right. Let's do this Friday freak out, son. You got any cutaways?
I do not yet.
How many years in the sport?
So I've got 207 jumps.
Oh, this is the one. Look.
14.
This is the Cessnas, dog.
Oh, yeah,
look,
man.
They're on the 182. They're calling out the wing for like an 8-way or some shit. Yo, I love the Cessna, man. And we've flown formations in Oklahoma back in the day. But boom! That's fucked up.
Whoa, fireball.
Oh, fireball. Look, head down on the wing, strut. Now, this is an old video, but goddamn, it's an oldie but goodie.
Yeah, do you know anybody who was in this?
I met a guy that knew a guy one time at a bar. All right. So they're doing a formation, and I'm not sure, you guys. I know it's an old video. I should have done some research. If the lower plane comes up, the upper plane goes down, but they collide. All the jumpers get out, the pilots get out, and Alex says one pilot lands a plane. Yeah,
so in this video, you don't see it in the video, but I read the NTSB report, and so what happened was when these dudes had this collision, the front airplane or the low plane rolls over the rear plane, right? And so but he separates with it was like the left or the right wing in the process of rolling over, it totally like cuts the wing spar.
Yeah.
And that's when you see that spark and that fireball, because that's where the gas is on a
All
Cessna.
the fuel's in the wings.
Boom. You know. So that guy gets out, and actually, they think they said that was his first skydive. So let him do a plane. He's like,
shit.
Ooh, load it. And then the second guy,
one more time.
the second guy, man, he had just like the wherewithal to be like, okay, can I still fly? You know, am I on fire?
So he's just prop out, no fire.
So like, no
both
fire.
wings are stable.
I think he said that the prop was just fucked up, and he was still able to land. I don't think he dead sticked it in where like the engine was off, like our bro Jared did.
Right.
Shout out to Jared.
Shout out to Jared.
Wherever you are, my man.
Motherfucking Yeti.
Yo,
goddamn Sasquatch.
Oh, damn, I just on fire again.
Good dude.
Yep, good dude.
Hey, Gaboo, what are you doing, dude? Oh, shit, there's one wing.
Yeah, that's nuts. Good thing is that door was open, man. That centrifugal force is gonna that can pin you, dude.
But dude, hold on, man. What if you got your back smashed?
Oof. Dude, no.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, bro, that's nasty. So like that's like so the lesson in this video, and for those who are watching this, you know, in the future and listening to this thing, so like
is do two ways.
Yeah, dude.
that's the lesson for WazzyCircus.
I'm gonna do the pilot shit right now with my
son.
hands like this, man.
Yeah,
I'm doing the pilot shit, but like. Yeah. If you're in a formation, right, you're supposed to maintain, you know, proper separation, you know, and you know, clearance from the other aircraft. You have to visual, like, hey, I see him, and like you have to have like your eyes on that guy or you know your wingman like all time.
At all times.
All times.
It's like your wingsuiting. If you're wingsuiting, same fucking thing. You gotta keep your eyes. So you think he took his eyes off of him for a second?
No, I thought so. Like you can lose visual reference. It happens all the time. You know, like the Air Force has certain code words for it. You know, like the Army's like, hey, I lost one. So like if first airplane's 1 and I'm 2 in the second airplane, so like say like I'm flying along my helicopter, my Black Hawk, you know, and here comes some fucking like huge flock of birds, and I'm like, oh shit. So I kind of move to the left to not hit him. Then I'm looking around, you know, for the lead aircraft. I'm like, hey, I got one in sight. I got that guy. He's like, he's my wingman. I got him in sight. You know, or my sister ship, however you want to call it. And so like. What it looked like in this video is that, you know, they're flying, you know, and the first airplane gets low or the second guy gets high, one of the two. Right? And so the other guy doesn't see him. He's like, oh, shit, I lost him. And in those high-wing airplanes, dude, like you can't see above you that well. You can a little bit, but not that well.
Not back, yeah.
Not back, you know, unless you have like that.
The bubble, like a 206 bubble in the back.
Yeah, or the cut-through on top of the wing. Okay. Some airplanes have that, not very many.
Right.
You know, unless the dude's like right over you can't see him. And so he can't see him, and so like he's just from what I'm looking at, like I'm not gonna try to armchair pilot quarterback. I'm not that kind of guy.
Right.
But from what it looked like, is he lost a visual reference. You know, the guy
on top or the guy on bottom.
Both, man. So like the guy on the bottom is like, I don't know where my wingman is. The guy on the top is like, yo, I don't know where this guy's at, and like I'm not sure if they're talking or not, or where they were at. But there's like a procedure for that. So if you lose visual, like, if you like use visual references,
take my fucking breath away just thinking.
Yeah, man. So like, hey, I'm turning left, you know, 20 degrees. This is the altitude I'm at. This is my airspeed. The other guy does the same thing. He turns another way.
Right.
Hey, I got you in sight. Yep, got you in sight. Cool. Let's link back.
But they're on the climb out. The door's open. Motherfucking skydivers are on the wing.
Yo, dude, that's like, I don't know what. You know what could have happened is that like
the weight.
I don't necessarily the weight, but like when they're on the climb out, I'm not somehow jump pilot. I'm not gonna pretend to be one.
Mm-hmm.
When he pulled out that throttle to slow down, put flaps in or something, he could have ballooned. Second guy could have dropped altitude. Mm-hmm. That's probably what happened. He probably ballooned a little bit and popped over the other guy. But dude, that's just sketchy, man. That's like, I'm really happy that everybody walked away from that.
Thank God, man.
Yeah.
Right on, man. So we're gonna end this session with a story out of.
Oh yeah.
No shit, there I was. Thought I was going to die. It's a book compiled by Tim Long and Doug Garr. Right on. What's the name of your story, Alex?
All right, boys and girls. So this one is called Bare Ass End Up a Tree. So no shit, there I was. I did all the no-nos. I was not current. I had borrowed gear, and I was naked. But how could I pass up the chance to do a Big Way SCR record? B as in butt stuff? I don't know what that means. I'm going to keep reading. But it was the biggest bare naked lady load to date.
A bare naked.
Yeah, bare naked, man. So he's like with a bunch of women, having a great time, living his best life. So we built the formation. Everything was working fine until pull time. I pulled and I waited and nothing. Reached around again and I felt the card deploy still tucked into its pouch. Tossed that and waited. Waiting and nothing. Then I looked around. I elbowed the container, still nothing. About the time, the adrenaline in my body and the alarm in my head sent me grabbing for the reserve handle. I left my hand and I grabbed. My left hand grabbed and I gave my left hand a hard punch with my right, which put my hand-mounted altimeter right in front of my eyes. It read straight up 0. The kind of thing stopped me right then. I was peacefully aware of the pillow of green, perfectly round tops of several phone poles rising beneath me. The mountains to the east were eye level and afternoon sunlight golden. It registered in me that I was about to die. I remember thinking, well, this is not going to hurt. That's when I got the line stretch with just enough time to cross my legs and arms as I sank into an enormous green tree. I landed seated on a branch and listened to the twigs, leaves crackling down the lawn below. Then an old lady came out the front door of the house, looked up and asked me if there's something she could do to help me. I said, yes, ma'am. Please. You got to give me some clothes because I don't have any. Right? She said, oh, my God, you don't. And she went back in her house. Immediately, a car zoomed up. Several guys from the DZ jumped out, threw me and the gear in the car, and we headed back to the DZ. About half an hour later, the Elsinore police arrived to the DZ to investigate a report of a naked lady landing in some tree. A naked lady landing in somebody's tree. At least 100 people saw me free fall past the tree line an hour before, but somehow nobody knew a thing about any naked ladies. The bemused cops left. Another no shit, there I was. Story was born. Hindsight, note to self, on borrowed gear, it would have been useful and remembered that a main ripcord handle is not the same place as a hand deploy, but a cutaway handle is.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dog, that's crazy. So
that's from back in the day when they were still using ripcords, son. Yeah.
Grandpa.
Man, Alex, super fun.
Yeah. Hey, there's one thing I wanted to talk about.
Let's bring it.
If we have a couple minutes.
Let's bring it.
Yeah. So I know I'm not sure if you knew, but I did break my leg, man.
How?
On a fucking low turn at Lone Star back in January. If you didn't know that, yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
maybe I did, but it was January. It's just a long time.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, about 6 months ago, 7, right, longer than that now. I was out with my girlfriend. She was doing a tandem. It was her second tandem. It was the last jump of the day, last load. That's how it starts, man. So like it's kind of a safety lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So I got out, did everything the right way. The only problem was I was borrowing some gear. So I borrowed some rental gear from Joe. And I had just a student jumpsuit on. I had jumped that rig 100 times before that. I put a lot of jumps on that rig, coming out here before I got my own. And so I was familiar with it. The winds were not that bad. We took off. They were like, maybe 7 knots, maybe gusting 10, maybe. Right. Took off at sunset, jumped out with the girlfriend, gave her a smooch, tracked away, opened up the appropriate altitude, and then like the winds are just blowing like nobody's fucking business at altitude. I'm like, fuck. So it blows me off. So I kind of tracked away, kind of lost a little bit of situation awareness where the airport was. So now I'm going to land off, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to land off.
Especially not at fucking sunset.
Dude, not at sunset.
Texas.
Not at sunset, not in the fucking woods, not with Joe's rental gear. Right, so I kind of put all those things in my mind over my own safety and just, being, okay, hey, it's not
dumb, but yeah.
It's not a big deal. Like, just fucking walk home, Alex. Just walk home.
Right, yeah.
But like sometimes you get your pride, you put pride in front of,
So what'd you do? You try to make it back?
I try to make it back. So I'm getting good penetration of the wind. I'm making it back to the DZ. Like the DZ's below me, so I'm like, all right, cool, I got this.
So you're coming downwind or what?
So I'm coming downwind, it's blowing me over the DZ, and so kind of like lose some altitude. I'm in the pattern. Then the winds change again, another direction. Like so, like from like about 2,000 feet of losing altitude, the winds were blowing a completely different direction than they were when we took off, and stronger this time. So now it's pushed me over the highway. I'm over the fucking now I'm low now, like really low, and I was thinking, okay, if I make a right hand turn, I can go make the parking lot, and I'll be fine. And I hesitated, and that moment was gone. Like the moment to make that decision had.
So you're like over the fucking parking lot, back behind that building,
bro. I am over
like power lines, trees.
Yeah, I'm
cars.
like exact power lines, trees. I'm over cars, and I'm like, okay. Like I look at my rate of descent. I'm looking like where it's gonna put me. I'm like, it's gonna be on top of the fucking buildings.
Oh fuck.
Or it's gonna put me in what's his name's little junkyard area behind that. And I was like, fuck, man, I don't want that. And so like.
Oh, you're over there back by the Red Barn.
Yeah, no. So I'm right over the DZ. Like I'm at like.
That's not a junkyard. That's a paraglider school. It's not a junkyard. It's just okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Kind of give you a little more kind of like reference of where I'm at. Where I'm at. So like I'm like right where the fire pit is. I'm like right there. And so I'm too low. Yeah, a little less than 75. I'm too low to make a turn left or right.
Yeah.
Right. I got to either land on the buildings and commit to a building landing, or hit this shit and like get really fucked up or die. So I'm like, okay. So I took like I don't want to risk dying or like going through a building or something like that. So I turned, and I kind of panicked a little bit, and I put too much left toggle in. And like, you know how that works, man.
Jesus Christ.
That total aerodynamic force shifted. Right, so now I'm in a dive at about.
So the aerodynamic force.
I'm fucking
shifted.
at a fucking at a 30 degree.
Oh no,
dude, I'm like 10 degrees nose low and like 30 degrees nose over.
Fucking full flared. Nothing's gonna happen.
I can't. Dude, I tried so hard. I tried so hard, and I hit. You know, thank God. You know, I didn't hit the buildings. I didn't hit anybody. I hit the sign that says "Danger Parachute Landing Area."
Oh fuck you!
I hit that sign with my left leg. And then the sign is got like those nylon, 20,000 tensile strength fucking cargo straps.
Yeah.
Which is a fence, and I hit that shit. It slowed me down just enough just to break my left leg. Right, so I broke my left fibula, like on a spiral fracture, and it slowed me down. I kind of did like a PL like drag fucking face. So it was it was feet, knees, my hips, and then like my fucking head, dog. Bam! Right? Yeah. I was okay. You know, I didn't hit my back, and like the first thing I hit the ground, I was like, fuck. And I just like immediately tried to stand up. I'm like, that wasn't that bad. I ain't no bitch. And like I was like, oh man, it's gonna hurt so bad. And then like I hit it literally felt like the earth came up and hit me.
Oh, you're
like it was like
fucking killing me, McHale.
Dude, man, I know. And then like, dude, and like I just remember like then it felt like all my left leg, the whole left leg, someone put like big vice grips on it and then just lit it on fire.
Oh Jesus.
And I looked up, I'm like, yeah, my leg's fucking broken. I just look up, and like my girlfriend like is like, she's an Army nurse. Yeah. So but she was like Johnny on the spot. Right. She's like, hey, what happened? You know? And then like, and I'm just like, Joe, I'm so sorry I broke my leg in a drop zone. He's like, it's okay, dude, no big deal. You know.
Yeah.
He's like Joe. His Midwestern accent. I love dude. I love Joe. Hey, what's up, Joe? Yeah. I fucking love Joe, man. He's a great fucking people. Yeah. And so Launchpad was there. Shout out Launchpad. And he's just like, bro, you broke your leg. And I'm like, I love you big goofy.
Skydivers are fucking heartless.
You big goofy kid. And he's like, yo, you want a beer? It's like. I'm happy I didn't. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I could drink a beer. And I was like, oh, no, that's a bad idea.
It's in your blood and you bleed out.
No, not even that. It's because when the hospital tests your blood, like they'll do a toxicology report on you to determine if you're negligent in your fucking duties, dude. So don't be high or, hey, PSA, don't be drunk or high when you break your leg.
Well, yeah, right? Fucking PSA, son.
Yeah. But,
so, a kid that wants to be a pilot and skydiver, what would you tell him?
I would say, man, don't let anybody, if you want to fly, don't let anybody tell you no. Don't let anybody ever discourage you. Don't let them ever take that dream that you've got burning in your belly, right? And don't let them ever quench that. Right. What you do is you invest in yourself. You know, you keep your faith. You know, if you're a spiritual, I'm a spiritual person, right? You know, I believe in God, and you know, I am so blessed that he kind of like, he is the reason that you know I can fly,
right?
That I can walk right now, honestly.
Right. Yeah. So you're back.
Yeah, man. Thank God. You know. Yeah. And you know, like you keep your faith. You know, you invest in yourself, and you maintain your focus on that dream, and you do whatever you have to do, you know, and to go after it. You know, and find like you know people that are going to inspire you, that are going to support you. You know, and if you're surrounded by people that are not like that, you know, they're not going anywhere. You know, that don't want to be somebody. You know, go, you know, find people who are and surround yourself with those people. Let them enrich your life. And most importantly, when you make it and you reach that point, when you've achieved your dreams, you know, give back.
Yeah.
Give back. Like, that's what I want to do, man. Like, I want to become a flight instructor, and I want to teach kids for free.
Right on.
Like, a little kid who was like, all he wants to do is ever fly an airplane before, and everyone's always told him no, where he lives in a spot where he can't afford to. I'll fly him for free.
And what's the name of your organization?
So like my organization is called Space Salvage Technologies Orbital.
Say it again slower.
Space Salvage Technologies Orbital. That's like my non-for-profit like kind of orbital technology research organization.
Sweet.
And then the organization that I volunteer with, that I do like all the space stuff with, that's Project Possum. And like that's for like you know, polar observation of you know, in the upper mesosphere.
Right on.
Yeah, it's
Right
cool,
on.
man. Yeah,
Fucking Alex McHale,
guys.
man. Hey,
Yeah.
he's a little kid that's doing something about it. Hey, the conversation goes on. You got to come back on the show. I
Dude,
know
absolutely,
we just barely
man.
scratched the surface.
Yeah, and then like be resilient, yo.
Be resilient. Yeah, don't fucking quit. Hey, you can support the show on Patreon. Shout out to Royce. God damn it, Rolls Royce. He just finished accelerated Wazzy program. He's on solo jumps. First Patreon donator. You guys can support the show. All I gotta say is learn to skydive. It'll change your life. It saved mine. Keep your head on a swivel and hook that shit, baby. Yeah, follow your dreams, son. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks, Waz. This has been awesome,
Oh,
dude.
fucking anytime,
Thanks, bro.
man.